Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros MLB. This is Leading Off Live, brought to you by bet365. Bet $5. Get 150 in bonus bets when you use the promo code Leading Off at bet365. It is me, Joey P. That's the Welsh. It's a fun Friday. Major League Baseball is back after a little hiatus. We had a hiatus too, kind of, sort of. If you missed it, go back onto the channel and check out our all-star teams for fantasy special. And more importantly, if you're playing Dynasty or any sort of keeper league situation, Welsh did an entire breakdown of the MLB draft and some futures game stuff too. You can't miss that. It's super important because these players are coming up quicker and quicker and making more and more of an impact. And Welsh, speaking of making impact on people's lives, we're going to do that today because we promised if you went and left a review at fantasypros.com/MLB review that we would give away our Orlando Cabrera jersey from the Montreal Expos, and we did. Andy Peckman, I believe it's Peckman. Congratulations. You're the big winner. Andy said, loved the song. Listen to the show daily. Well, Andy, congratulations, because you, my friend, have a piece of history here with this Orlando Cabrera jersey. Just hit us up, mailbag at fantasypros.com. Again, email us at mailbag at fantasypros.com with your subscription to Fantasy Pros MLB YouTube channel and your mailing address, and we'll get this sent out to you ASAP. Welsh, doesn't it feel good to do good things?
I do. I love doing great things. I hope he wears the jersey during the show as well.
Yeah, tweet us a picture at Joe Pisa17 at Is It The Welsh. If you have Twitter, tweet us a picture in the Orlando Cabrera jersey that I hope it fits. I mean, I don't know what size it is. Orlando Cabrera wasn't the biggest guy. So I don't know.
You don't actually have to wear it. It's also
like Andy could be a lumberjack for all I know. Andy Peckman could be like, just completely small.
I wouldn't fit in a Orlando Cabrera like one of his own
Probably
jerseys.
Not.
I don't
Probably
think I would.
Not.
So
but anyway,
like either one of us.
No, definitely not me either. It would be fat guy in a little coat. That's what they would be. Which, by the way,
was
on TV.
Guy in a little coat.
It's funny every time. Every time it's funny, and I know it's coming, and I'm watching it, and I'm still laughing out loud.
You want to take real quick this? I'm actually really sad about. I'm sad to report this.
No.
I just really quickly. I rewatched Idiocracy last night. A lot of reasons to rewatch Idiocracy. And
I was gonna say, are you sure you were watching that, or you just had the wrong channel on?
I gotta tell you,
and all that. Let's not.
Here's the sad news: it doesn't hold up. I forgot. Like,
I just watched it for the first time a couple weeks ago, and it did for me. I thought it was hysterical.
No, because that's your first. Like, there are lines in it that I was like, I made my wife watch it, and I was like, I'm looking over to her, and she doesn't know the lines, but I'm like, oh look, it's the line. Welcome to Costco. I love you. Like, they're great lines, but the story as a whole just kind of dragged.
Silly. I don't know, man. It's so short. I still think Idiocracy is hilarious.
It just didn't hold up. I'm very sad about it, but the moment
Tommy Boy holds up.
Great.
Tommy Boy holds up. Chris Farley is a legend. And the scene with, Tommy want wingy, still fantastic. Like, again, I know it's coming, and he just destroys that dinner roll, and it's my favorite thing. And I love it. I can't get enough of it. All right, let's get to the headlines. Clayton Kershaw, with that shoulder, is going to make another minor league rehab start on Friday. So, in the words of Mrs. Doubtfire, help is on the way, dear. Is that possible? Like, could we be getting Clayton Kershaw if he makes another rehab start today? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're looking at maybe next Thursday? Could he rejoin the rotation? That doesn't seem, or by the weekend at least. It seems like Clayton Kershaw, help is on the way, dear.
Thank
it feels
you.
like we're close to that.
That's what I was gonna do. Like, don't do the line. You should do the impression. Like,
Derek Brown does it really well, which is actually upsetting to me. Because he thinks nobody's impressions are good, but that actually is the only good impression.
By the way, he's the worst about that. You're right. I did a Mike Tyson, and he's like, "Oh, you're Donald Duck," and I'm like, "No, this was a good impression." You are right. He's a hater of impressions.
I don't know. I think his ears are broken. I don't know.
I do too. Yeah, I think Clayton Kershaw is closely lined up. The Dodgers desperately need him. I'm pretty cautious about it though, because I think, obviously, like, you can pick him up, and I think he's worth picking up to hold to see what happens. I think they're going to be really cautious about these first couple starts. I'm not sure you're going to see him really going deep, probably right at 5 if it's an efficient game. But there is a lot of Dodgers support. I just don't know if the stuff is still going to play. I mean, still a great pitcher, but like, we're seeing what's happening with Verlander right now. Like, Verlander, it's not looking as great as it has been. Max Scherzer stuff, more powerful than Kershaw. I'm into it to see what happens, especially for him to jump back in the rotation. If he's out there, this is the time to go and pick him up. but I'm going to be cautiously optimistic with it because it could end up being not a great thing. It could end up being like, oh, we have to spot start Clayton Kershaw in our fantasy lineups, for home outings or just really good, bad teams like going up against the Rockies or something like that. So we'll see where it goes, but the Dodgers desperately need him. And I would pay attention to how the next couple outings, minor league and major league go, because it could really determine how aggressive the Dodgers are. They have been very, very tightly tied to the White Sox with Gerrit Cole and Luis Robert, and how Kershaw might determine what they do.
Yeah, look, I think that Kershaw is somebody that, to be very careful with. Maybe he's a 5-inning pitcher at this stage of his career. Maybe. I say no. I mean, we're already at the end of July. What you're trying to get is, 10 plus starts out of him, somewhere in that range.
What do you mean? No, like he's going to go further?
I think he's going to go further.
Go
I think this is his last hurrah. Maybe the first couple starts will be babied a little bit, but I do think by the time we turn the page to August, that he will be, whatever's left in that tank, you're going to see it emptied. I think this is the last hurrah for Clayton Kershaw.
But see, I think
he's somebody that I think can be a fantasy contributor, I think, in the second half because he played just for the Dodgers. I mean, we've just seen it a million times by now.
You're not wrong about what you said, that like this is the last hurrah. He almost retired this offseason and they're going to build him up. The only difference is like my pushback would be, I don't think it happens by August because August is in 11 days. Like it's going to take time. I think it could be by September, he's really being able to push. If he's efficient, he could push into those longer innings. But you're right. Like they're going to want everything they can possibly get out of him. He's missed the whole season, so there shouldn't be really any limit. The limit will be his own stuff. But I just think it might take a little bit longer. For you guys in head-to-head, I think that plays well. I think he's a better head-to-head option right now than he is Roto. So I'll say that.
That is fair. Gerrit Cole is going to start today also. More on Gerrit Cole a little bit later on. So the Yankees have set up their rotation. That means Luis Gil, because that's kind of the big part of this about like, okay, well, who's coming out when? Cole, Cortez, Stroman, Rodon. So no surprise here. Gil getting pushed here. A little bit of a break. Now, we've seen sometimes that has a negative effect. They are going to be playing the Mets. Last time Gil faced the Mets, by the way, that was not a good situation for Luis Gil. He got blown up in that. Would you be reticent to start him in that start coming off that long window of break? Because we've seen a lot of guys struggle with that much time off. And last time against the Mets was so bad. This is a big question here because some leagues you got to set right now and they have that overlap week in terms of like, oh, you're not just setting for this week, you're setting for the entire week. So I wanted to hash that out with you because I would say you're probably going to do in a rock and a hard place where you have to start him. But if you had a lot of options in a more shallow league, maybe you don't.
I just don't think you have enough options in other spots to not. I would. So I did that redraft. Remember, I've told you, Bogman and I, we do that league where it's like, first half Roto, it ended, and we redid the head-to-head draft on Wednesday night. I had the 6th pick, drafting through my team. In the 12th round, I got Luis Gil. That's how scared everybody was of Luis Gil. They let him go into the 12th. It is a guy that was a top 15, top 10 pitcher in the first half. Everybody's scared about those 3 bad starts and what could happen, getting maxed out at the end. So I jumped on it. Yes, I think there's concern, but I'm going to go, feet in, head first. I'm going head first into the second half with Luis Gil because it was a good start on the back half. There was a bit of a rest. There was a bit of a mind reset. And I still think the stuff is, it's elite fantasy stuff with some actual command issues. But I think the Yankees are going to put all that garbage on that last, whatever it was, 2 weeks behind them. And they're going to come out really strong out the gates. I think Gerrit Cole's going to come out strong today. And I think Luis Gil will as well. But, that's a Pollyanna mind, I guess, I have about the Yankees for whatever reason.
Kyle Tucker, by the way, has only resumed light on-field baseball activities that do not include hitting. Now, Kyle Tucker's been dealing with a bone bruise. Well, this is not like a tendon issue. This is not ACL, MCL. There's a bone bruise. I don't ever remember a baseball player taking this long to recover from something like this. And I know it's on the shin, so I get that. It's a very sensitive area.
Is this Joe's like tough guys, anti-tough guys thing you're doing?
It's not. I put Kyle Tucker on my fantasy all-stars, and now I thought we'd be at a point where we're back here this weekend. He's back. But a bone bruise? Like, you're right in the thick of things here. A bone bruise? Are we still doing this, Kyle Tucker? Are we talking about practice? Look, I'm not calling Kyle Tucker out because I'm sure Kyle Tucker is a wonderful guy. But a bone bruise? How do you ever remember somebody missing this much time for that?
I mean, I don't pay it. I don't know if I pay attention.
Welsh.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only like injuries that ever stand out to me are like Tommy John and like, testicular fractures and stuff like that.
Well,
like
that's
I don't
the
remember.
Mariners' problem.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't
they've had
remember
more
anything else.
testicular fractures than playoff wins. I saw that.
But Joe,
ever.
we got our boy Joe Rico in here, who I kind of agree. Like, there's probably something a little bit further beyond where he said he says definitely a hairline fracture. There might be something along those lines.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We'll call it a fracture. Like, that's what I was saying too. Is it a hairline fracture? Is it something like? But you keep calling it a bone bruise, and
they lie because they lie about that stuff all the time. They lie about those things all the time. I do think it's weird that it seemed very like clerical, like, all right, he's gonna just miss a little bit of time. He'll be back after the break. He seems like he's on a slower timeline than Fernando Tatis Jr., who yesterday we got word that he had a clean MRI. And he had been already doing some swinging and some running on the backfields. And yeah, I mean, Tatis might come back before Tucker, and that is a surprise.
Yeah, apparently, but that Tatis injury showed the progress in healing that the Padres had hoped for, end quote. And that was with a broken femur, correct, right? Is that what we were like?
No, it was you'd be out for the season if it was a broken,
not broken femur. It was a femur. What? Something with the femur. I don't know. It was a hairline fracture of the femur. I thought, wasn't it?
Oh, maybe. Testicular femur fracture. I don't know.
Did you get $1 every time you say testicular on the show today? Is that what we're doing?
Well, then I have $2, Joe. I'm rich.
Well, I have $1 too. Let's talk about Jack Flaherty. He starts today, the opener. So this is the audition against the Blue Jays here for the rest of the league.
That's a good way to say it.
Jack Flaherty's last start for the Tigers, yes or no?
No, this is not the last start for him, but will he be a Tiger at the end of the year? No. I mean, you think it's going to be this one and then he's immediately traded? Because he would.
I think it's this one. You put him in bubble wrap, and I think somebody's going to come knocking next week.
Okay,
I know some teams don't wait for the break, and Flaherty could be that guy that's, he doesn't have the track record. Like, you're waiting for Zach Gallen or you're waiting for this one. If you're smart, you pounce on a guy like Flaherty who came out of nowhere this year. You can get him cheaper. You can get him before everybody else. And there's a marketplace where people are still like, is this really for real when it comes to Jack Flaherty? That to me is what's so interesting about
that. I agree with that. I've been preaching this for 3 weeks. Guys have got to get more aggressive. These teams have to get more aggressive. But I think it was the Mariners or Padres. There was a report out that's saying like they want to be involved in a trade. They envision, I think it was the Mariners. They envision that the only trade they're going to be involved is going to be a dynamic, impactful trade. But they said that's not available there in the market. Everyone's holding tight. No one wants to do anything. But Flaherty is one of the few pitchers, Flaherty and Fetty and Gerrit Cole. Those are probably the three that I think are the most accessible, and everybody's vying for a starting pitcher. Baltimore should be aggressively trying to go get Jack Flaherty right now. So to your point, if he goes out and dominates today, a team should go and make that call. I just think these teams are trying to hold it as tight as possible. Unless he goes out and throws out a freaking gem. I think
if he bombs, then it's not his last start. But if he looks anything like Jack Flaherty of the first half,
if he strikes out 10 and goes 7, yeah, you know what? They probably are done, and they're going to make that trade. Yeah, you're right.
Gianmarco has a question about Kevin Gausman. Mr. Acevedo, yesterday's show, we did a whole breakdown on Gausman, so I just want to point you there. Go listen to that show from yesterday, because I don't want to repeat ourselves for the audience joining us today, but we did it. Also, Lee has a request. Lee is an OG here of the show. Lee wants me to say the word testicular in Christopher Russo voice. Is that something you support?
My name is Chris Welsh, and I approve this message.
All right, here we go. So, Welsh, would you tell me that the testicular problem with the way that the Blue Jays and the Mariners are getting together with the testicular fortitude of these two teams? It's unbelievable, Welsh. It's crazy.
Can we get like the hair? Like, I need a Russo. I need like the hair, and I need the whole setup.
That's what. Yeah. How many times are we going to see this injury here, Chris? I don't understand.
It is A+. Derek Brown would hate that impression, but yeah. But I think it's amazing.
Derek Brown hates it. I want to talk about this too. Kyle Harrison, a pitcher that we had high expectations for coming into the year. He's going to be back kicking around today. Curious about this start. What you have to say about it? 5 runs, 9 hits, 5 Ks, 5 walks, over 8 2/3 in the last 2 starts. So it's been shaky lately. Do you think Kyle Harrison is a fantasy asset or a fantasy albatross the rest of the season?
I would lean albatross if I had to pick one. K percentage took a 4% dip this year. His expected ERA is almost 5. It's almost a full run higher than where it's at. And, I love barrel percentage for hitters, and you see double digits and you're like, let's go. This guy's trending. Kyle Harrison is giving up a 10.3% barrel percentage right now, which is atrocious. His fastball, batting average 300 against, changeup, slurve, slider, all 300 against. I said fastball was 250 against. I'm sorry. The others 306, 302, and 333. Just giving up way too much contact. You got Robbie Ray that's coming up. Alex Cobb just did a rehab assignment. I think Kyle Harrison is going to get a boot from this. And even if he doesn't, he'll get a boot from my fantasy team this year.
Yeah, I got Robbie Ray coming back. That is definitely something where, spots might get a little tighter here. Yet Snell just came back too. He's going to have to pitch for his life. I'm kind of where you are. All
Snell
right,
has been, by the way, Snell has been I was encouraged by that last start. I actually
the last
think
start was very good.
Might be a really good buy time on Snell before he starts stacking a couple good starts.
Wonky Penguin trolling me in our Slack chat, by the way, talking about how Blake Snell has 2 Cy Youngs and Nolan Ryan has none. And I think today was some kind of anniversary of his 7th no-hitter or something like that when he was 44 years old. just to make me mad. I love Nolan Ryan. I saw Nolan Ryan pitch his second to last game, and it was in Camden Yards. First time I'd ever been to Camden Yards. And I kid you not, it was an electric atmosphere. Everybody still had real cameras. So every pitch he threw, the entire ballpark was lighting up with flash bulbs. That's one thing you don't get anymore, that it's hard to describe to anybody what that's like. And I mean, every pitch. And I was sitting in the upper field level, but Welsh, the sound of the pop of the mitt every time he threw a pitch was unbelievable. Like this guy's throwing 98, 90, like he's throwing gas before people were throwing gas as commonly as they do now.
Yeah, I know that sound. This though reminds me, this is like, you are like you are Colin Cowherd right now to when he interviewed Derek Jeter, and I'm Derek Jeter. You remember where he was like, so Derek, you were in the Nolan Ryan era, and Jeter was like, whoa. He stopped the interview. This happened like a week ago. He stopped the interview and he's like, I didn't play with Nolan Ryan. There's like a 3 or 4 year gap. Like for me to hear that you were at a game that Nolan Ryan was pitching kind of just like blows my mind.
But it was the flash bulbs that were so like, that was such a cool special moment. So this is not a special moment. I hate this, Welsh. The Dodgers and Cubs are opening the 2025 MLB season in Tokyo.
Oh yeah.
Ugh. I don't like the international openers, Welsh. I don't mind exhibition games. I don't want the games to count. It's annoying from a fantasy perspective, from a draft perspective. Every year we have to deal with this. Well, do we count these stats? Do we not count these stats?
Because they're a week before the freaking season starts. Yeah. I completely agree.
I hate it so much. When I was a kid, baseball started and we just all started the same teams and did it in America. Right? That's where it started. It was right here on our soil because it was our game and it was our passport. It was our pastime. And we liked it. That's how it was.
Start ripping your shirt off for America here. Is that doing that?
No, I do, because from a fantasy perspective, it's just
I know it's
super annoying.
There's a big battle here between like this very like oh, this is great because we're like pushing the game in different but then there is like this selfishness of like, can we not have baseball games that count go a week before the season? Then there's a week break between it. Like I hate it beyond hate. I just shut up about it. I think it is ridiculously stupid. I'm fine if they want to do like a series, go send like 4 teams out the first week of the baseball season and let them do a whole thing there. 2 weeks. They go and that's fine by me. Don't do it a week before.
Like, and I get it. Like, it's cool. MLB wants to be international, and I don't mind the in-season stuff. Like, the in-season stuff is cool. The game in London was super fun. Like, they should go to Italy and play a game. Like, they should play it among the grapes in Italy. They should do it like right in Tuscany somewhere. Ooh. And instead of the cornfield, it's all just a winery. And, you get the second base and you have a little espresso or something waiting for you. Like, that's all great. It's just before the season, a week earlier than the season starts. It drives me crazy. And remember how bad it was this year? How all the pitchers got lit the hell up. It was awful. It was awful baseball. The guys were not ready. It was crushing ERAs. People were overreacting, going, "Oh my God,
Dude,
Yamamoto's the worst pitcher ever."
Look
Remember
at Michael
all that?
King's numbers. If you took Michael King's start from
Take Yamamoto and Michael King
Yeah.
start out of that. Look how good they were the rest of the season. I don't understand.
Yeah, I
don't
agree. They should play one in a Coliseum though, like in Rome. They should go to Rome. and
Yeah.
play it in
Oh my
Coliseum.
God, how cool would that be?
I don't know
You
how big
know?
that is though. That might be
Changing
like
pitchers, like
an
if you want a
infield.
pitcher to come out.
Yeah.
The whole thumbs
Bring a
down.
lion out there, just be like, "Run, Judge!" Yeah.
All right, we got 2 prospects to talk about here with the Welsh. The A's apparently
excited.
going to call up Jacob Wilson. So he tore up AA, 455, 473, 705 slash. Nothing left to prove in 22 games there. Then got promoted in May to AAA. Not too shabby, again, PCL, but whatever. 398, 444, 639 in 83 at-bats here. He 4 homers, 8 doubles, 12 RBIs, 12 runs scored. So combined, a 438, 475, 687 slash, 7 bumps, 25 doubles, 34 RBI in just 46 games. So Jacob Wilson and the A's, Welsh, talk to me.
Me. This is me going to make this about me for a minute. May 18th on Fantasy Pros. You can go back and look because I tweeted it because I'm going to take these victory laps when I can. I wrote on Fantasy Pros, May 18th, Jacob Wilson stash because the A's last summer brought up Zach Geloff and Tyler Soderstrom. Be on the lookout for Jacob Wilson to get to the majors this year. And he's getting called up. Also, this is a point harkening back to the very beginning of the show where you're like, yo, pay attention to these draft guys because you don't know how quick it can happen. Jacob Wilson was drafted last year, so he is already up in the majors. And Jacob Wilson had a Quan Arise-like feel to him. Massive contact. Suffered from counting stats. Didn't really steal a lot of bases. Home runs weren't quite there, but he doesn't strike out. Like, he just doesn't strike out. This year, though, he started to lift the ball a little bit. He's getting the ball in the air. He can put up some okay, exit velocity numbers, but nothing great. But he had 7 homers. That's huge. You didn't see that type of stuff even in college outside of just little moments where he would really make great contact. But this is a guy that was hitting over 400. He's a big-bodied guy. He's like 6'4", little skinnier. But like, this is just a big-bodied guy who gets the bat in the path, makes tons of contact. He's a must pick up in points league. I'm not going to call him a must pick up in any other format, but I think I would because I think he can hit. He is the prime person to go and hit up the top of this lineup within a week of being with the A's. I think he's hitting at the top of the lineup. Lots of contact. If the power keeps playing, perfect. I don't think he steals a lot of bases, but batting average, runs, I think that is going to be a good source.
Any concerns about like the PCL inflation? That's the only thing I have. Like,
absolutely. No, I mean, the PCL.
That's always a concern. But although he's not a big power guy, quote unquote, necessarily in your opinion, so maybe that's less of a problem.
The PCL is good. The power, but he was hitting homers in AA as well. So that's why, like, if you pick up Jacob Wilson, you shouldn't be like, well, he's hit 7. He probably hit like 7 more for me the way. No, you really probably shouldn't count on that. You should be looking for a lot of batting average, a lot of hits. He's a step or 2 up from Nolan Shanwell from last season. But, he makes so much contact, doesn't strike out. And the A's have kind of been rolling a little bit. If he is hitting in front of guys like Brent Rooker, that might not be a horrible thing. So I'm just very into Jacob Wilson. We'll see what it does totally for fantasy. So don't go make some crazy move or anything like that.
All right, one more guy, too. The White Sox are recalling infield prospect Brooks Baldwin from AAA. Baldwin. Well, I'm a real.
Whoa, Raggy.
Baldwin's coming up. I thought for a second I was a real boy, like Jackson Holiday for a second. When it's time to change. Brady Bunch reference for you youngins. Anyway, Baldwin. Also started at AA, made the jump to AAA, now make it to the big leagues. 82 games, 324, 391, 468 bombs, 17 steals. What's your thoughts on Brooks Baldwin? So between Wilson and Baldwin, how aggressive would you be on either? Is one a consolation prize or both these guys like, hey, go get both of these if you can?
No, I mean, Brooks Baldwin had a really solid like minor league season so far. He is just a watch. He's going to be a guy that going to go out there, going to watch, see how it goes. I'm not looking to pick him up right now.
All right, very well. So there you go, a little prospect action here. Some injuries. Josh Young is progressing to hitting on the field. He was delayed because of that wrist injury, so more on that. Also, Evan Carter of the Rangers is running the bases again. Yay! Love that. Good time.
Congrats.
Tristan Casas, remember him? apparently before the end of July could be back with the rib injury and back in Boston before we know it, right? Gosh, he's missed a lot of time. Look, Casas was somebody that I know a lot of people in the fantasy baseball community were very excited about.
As was I.
Is this your great ideal window to buy low? Because it almost feels like he's a forgotten man in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, if there is a buy, like I bought him in like a dynasty trade earlier this year. From a redraft perspective, if he's sitting out there, I would try to go pick him up. This is encouraging. Putting him back into that lineup where Jarren Duran has been dominant. I mean, that lineup has hit. It has hit really well. There's going to be immense RBI opportunities, and especially if he's not too rusty.
Well, Boston's in the wild card right now.
I know.
Like, they're there. So, like, Boston's in the thick of it. So, why not?
Yeah, and I think he's probably 10 days away. Like, maybe the end of next week, we can get him back. Maybe that's a trajectory, and that's almost the entire second half. So, yeah, I'm a buy on Casas right now.
I love that we can get the Orioles, Yankees, and Red Sox all in the playoffs. That'd be amazing. That's super fun. Like, think about that. That's really fun. Also fun, Kodai Senga is going to make one more rehab start with AAA Syracuse. Kodai Senga. Now, the Mets are not going to be in the market to add more pieces, but they are getting a pitcher back. So, do I dare ask this question? Are the Mets a playoff team?
This is funny because when I did I did the CBS Sports HQ earlier in the week. One of the guys I had to give them like, who were my teams to make the playoffs, and I didn't put the Mets in. And he was like, "Oh man, I'm just so sorry we're starting a relationship off like this, that you have the Yankees in and the Mets out." And I'm like, "I'm so sorry, man." But could they be? Yes. Will they be? I think it's really hard priced. If you're not going to be buyers, they're going to attempt to limp in. But the problem is they've got a massive issue of Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso is one of the most prominent players that could be traded. This team seems to want to move off of it. They're going to have to make a decision. If they just win these games for the next 10 days, I think it's going to be impossible. And getting Kodai Senga back is a player that they can go and, they can kind of use that as like, hey, this is an addition. This is a trade. But I think if they go 50-50 split, I think Alonso is gone. And I think that tells us the story. So all of that to say, I don't believe they will be.
Remember when I'm going to do a full circle here, Chris Farley. Remember when Kodai Senga was going to be back May 1st? Yeah. Remember that? That was awesome.
That was awesome. We're really glad that we drafted any of him.
We didn't. We did. We warned you. We warned everybody. We said, hey, don't believe what they're telling you. It's never a good thing. Whenever a guy's working in this fashion, has an injury like this going into the season, you might not get him the entire season. You have to bake that in to the ADP, and it was not baked in enough, unfortunately. But luckily, it's Friday. And it's time to bake in some cash because it's time for the best bets
of the day
with Joey P and the Welsh. Sign up at bet365, bet $5, get 150 in bonus bets when you use the promo code leading off. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-BETS off in Iowa. Terms and conditions apply. Welsh, my boy Juan Soto has some really good numbers against Zach Eflin in his career. Really good. In 31 at-bats, 2 homers, RBI, hitting .452 with a 1256 OPS. So we're going to go and attack this. We're going to take the Yankees on the run line with Gerrit Cole against Eflin today. -1.5 on the run line, plus 125, plus money on this. Yes, please. And then I want to put Juan Soto props in this. At least the over on the RBIs, you're getting plus 140. And if you're really feeling lucky, 3-1 on hitting a home run tonight. So Soto and the Yankees, that's where I'm going today for my best bets. Also, Aaron Nola comes out of the gate starting for the Phillies against Martin Perez against the Pirates. Phillies on the run line too, -1.5, plus 125. I think the Phillies had a little bit of a nice little break.
Oh no. Is that Joe or me?
I think it's both of them. I'm live. I see me. I'm here. Am I not here anymore?
No, you're here. You're here now. I just see you a little jumbled. Right. I just didn't know if someone was trying to make an appearance. Hey, yo.
Well, we had all the other characters. We had Chris Russo on earlier. We had Angry Joe. So why not Puppet Joe? Why not all of the?
I've got some bets for you guys to make some money today. Hey, yo.
It's like the faces of Foley over here.
It does kind of look like you when I do it like this. Look, there's no hair here. All right, talk. Go.
Hello, my name is Joe Pizzapia, and I like baseball. There you go. It's stunning how real that is. So give me the Phillies on the run line, the Yankees on the run line, Juan Soto to drive in a run today. Those are my best bets of the day. Welsh, what do you got for the people?
All right. I have got some bets right. I'm actually joining that Philly one too. Run line plus money. Love the plus money. 1.5 for Philly coming out the gates. I'm also going to be in on them on the home run side. So Philly is one of the trying to find the money lines and the full run lines coming off of the All-Star break. I think it's a little bit tougher. I really want to see over the next couple days, but Philly, this is a good matchup. Martin Perez also has a over 5 ERA. So give me Philly run line. I will go Baltimore money line. This is a tougher matchup. Corbin Burns, Evaldi with the Rangers, but Corbin Burns, I don't think there's any holdback from the All-Star game pitching or anything like that. It was essentially a bullpen session for him. I think the Orioles are going to come out really strong out the gates, and that's why I'm just taking the money line. I don't want to mess with the run line here. It's minus 122, so it's closing in on even-ish money, and it's not too much juice to pay. So minus 122 Baltimore, and then something I've been doing for you guys over the last couple weeks. This is my plus 1.5 run first 5 parlay. It's ridiculous. So I'm taking 3 teams in the first 5 innings, and I'm going plus 1.5 runs. And I have to do 3 to get the juice decent, because I am essentially saying this team will not be losing by more than 1 run through the first 5 innings. So today, that parlay is actually going to pay 1.5 on our money, 153. We are going the St. Louis Cardinals with Sonny Gray. We're going with Frankie Montas versus Washington, and we're going with Detroit for Jack Flaherty. So we're backing Montas, Flaherty, and Sonny Gray, Cardinals, Tigers, and Reds plus 1.5 through the first 5 innings at plus 153. We'll see how that goes. Odds, I think I'm 4-2 on these so far. So we're going to play one of these out the gates. Those are my best bets for the day.
There you go. Make sure you download the Betting Pros app. Start betting smarter, not harder. And some new bells and whistles are dropping on BP2 for the NFL season. Some amazing stuff. So sync your sports books for free and thank us later. All right, Welsh, let's go to the home run board. We haven't seen this bad boy in a while. So let's see where things are in the world of home runs. Let's see. Am I still on there? I am. Look, you can't kill me. I'm like a cockroach. 26. Thank you, Aaron Judge. I mean, Aaron Judge against Baltimore is... that's just like a money fest. You just bet every prop, and I did, and I also got a couple dingers for him. So I'm at 26, a little bit more comfortable, but still like barely on the board. L-Scale at the top with 34, and Silent Dragon out of nowhere, RKO, 34. Look at this at number 2, tied for 1, I should say. What am I saying? So Welsh, obviously I'm going Juan Soto for my home run call today with his numbers against Eflin. He's in that little tiny itty bitty ballpark called Yankee Stadium. Welsh, where are you going today?
Go Trey Turner. I'm going to avoid the lefties. I'd like to take someone in Philly. I was thinking about Alec Boehm. I feel like I'm a Alec Boehm second half guy still, but I'm going to go with Trey Turner coming out the gates hot, getting them on the board. I need to get on that freaking board here. It is like minus 210 right now that Joe is going to be completely gone before I make it on the board. So it is not looking good, fellas. And also, we should have the small announcement here, Joe, that starting next week, Joe is tapering just a little bit. So there'll be a show or two. Joe is still here with us, but there's a show or two that Joe will not be on.
Russo's going to fill in for me on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, but we are
going to leading off, everybody. We got a great show for you today. You got leading off. You got the Christopher Welsh here. You're going to talk about the prospects. It's going to be amazing.
I think
fantastic.
I think people would actually really love if you did a whole show. I mean, I know there's some people that would hate it, but like some people would really.
Some people, I think most people. Although he gets ratings on his show, so I mean, maybe people don't hate it. Maybe
Fun. Casey Bubba and Joe Rico will start being put into the fold. So just so you guys know.
Yes, I'm excited about that because Joe was here doing a couple of shows with me when Welsh was on vacation. He did great work. Casey Bubba, you guys all know him from the shows in past years too. Two of the best baseball folks out there doing fantastic things. So I'm happy to give them some more airtime here. Is again, football season is just what it is. By the way, go get your fantasy football black book too. I want to answer a question for our friend John Marco because I kind of pushed him to the Kevin Gossman thing, and to John Marco's credit, is still here watching live anyway. What's a good trade package for Gerrit Cole, fantasy purposes? Welsh, I would imagine you have to get back a starter of some kind of note, some kind of 1A starter, could you get Pablo Lopez and a bat for Gerrit Cole with the way Cole's pitched so far since he's returned? And the fact that Lopez ERA is still inflated, is that too much to give for Cole? I don't know. I'm thinking you have to start, in my opinion, with that pitcher. Who that pitcher is. It's not going to be the elite of the elites. It's not going to be, the Wheelers and Sales and those guys. But would you take a Gerrit Crochet and a bat for Gerrit Cole?
Yeah, I mean, no one's trading that. No, yes, I would
take
take
still Gerrit Cole in a lot of people's minds.
I would take Gerrit Crochet over Cole right now, straight up. I don't think if you're doing a Gerrit Cole trade, you're going to get a suitable pitcher, because why would that person be wanting Gerrit Cole if they're going to then trade you like Pablo Lopez? So I think if you're doing the trade, you've got to target something that you really want on the hitting side and hope that you can maybe get back a pitcher that is much lower caliber that maybe plays up, like something like you going and getting an equivalent.
I got one for you.
Hitter, equivalent hitter with Gerrit Cole, and then like a Cal Quantrill who could get traded. And no, but I know Cal Quantrill's been, but he's been the best Rockies pitcher. And if he gets traded, I just don't. Why would the guy trade Flaherty if they're wanting Cole? I just think
because he doesn't. Because Gerrit Cole is going to be in the Hall of Fame someday, and Jack Flaherty has just been good now for the first time in 3 years. Like, that's the mindset. I think people are very prisoner of the moment. All right, would you Josh Naylor and Sonny Gray for Gerrit Cole? What side of that deal you want to be on?
Yeah, I would take Naylor and Sonny Gray.
I think you could pull that off. You throw in something else mid.
And I'm like a Cole guy for this.
I know. That's what. There you go.
But Sonny Gray's like only a few notches down, and you're getting Josh Naylor.
Absolutely. Jeremy Pena, Gossman, and Ranger Suarez for Blake Snell and Gerrit Cole. And that deal was declined for Gianmarco. I can understand. Look, so
I'd want the Cole and Snell side.
Yeah, Cole and Snell side I would want as well. So
yeah, that's a whole. He offered for the Cole. Yeah, no, I don't think that's a good offer.
That's not enough. That's not enough. So we're trying to help out the folks here. But again, I think to Welsh's point, it's either a hitter just outside of that top tier or right in that precipice, that second round ish kind of, or a 1A kind of pitcher like the Sonny Grays, guys who are, you can count on Sonny Gray. He's going to be good. He's going to pitch. Is he Gerrit Cole? No, but if you need some bodies and you don't want the risk of Gerrit Cole rest of season, I get it. I think it's
here's a solution for Gianmarco too. Go to fantasypros.com/chat and join up. Sorry, it's the pen.
Jeez, I'm gonna very aggressive.
But fantasypros.com/chat, join up with the free Discord, and you can get into the baseball stuff, and you can ask people questions. You can get everybody else's insight. Kind of, it's not quite leading off territory of all of our fun people, but a lot of them are in there. Like, this is an awesome singular community, but the same thing, fantasypros.com/chat, and go and ask some questions in there.
Well, the lawn guys have clearly showed up at my house. I don't know if you can hear that, Welsh. So that'll do it for us. But the story of the game, it goes on. I'm Joey P. That's the Welsh. We'll see you Monday, kids. Have a great weekend of baseball. And don't wave pens at people.
Bye-bye.
Don't do that.
That didn't work.
What'd you do? You broke something?
I'm trying to throw it at the